The Independent Electoral Commission has until February to hold 111 by-elections nationally. President Cyril Ramaphosa last night announced that officials will be allowed to visit prisons, hospitals and old-age homes for the purpose of registration and special voting. Well, to discuss whether the body will be ready and is adequately prepared, we're joined by Sy Mamabolo, who is the Chief Electoral Officer. Good evening and thank you so much for your time, Mr. Mamabolo. Let's talk about these by-elections that you have to try and get through before next year's local government election cycle.
Yes, certainly. I think, Cathy, it's a moment of trepidation and excitement concurrently. Because, you know, we exist to do by-elections, we exist to do elections, and we've not been able to do that since March. So the new alert level gives us the possibility to test ourselves ahead of the election, but also to test the measures that we think must be implemented to avoid voting station serving as points of cross-infection of people.
What do you think are going to be some of the difficult challenges that you'll have to endure as you set about this process?
Well, our biggest worry at the moment is whether the voters themselves will adhere to the measures that we want to implement at the voting station. Firstly, to queue in a manner that observes the requirement to maintain social distancing. Secondly, to ensure that they bring along a face covering or at least a mask and remain with that face clothing for the duration of their presence at the voting station. And thirdly, to ensure that they sanitize their hands when they enter the voting station and upon leaving. So that is something that gives us sleepless nights, but we do believe that through our information and communication campaign in the affected wards, we'll be able to reach the most people and have them behave in a manner that reinforces compliance with the measures implemented.
Mr. Mamabolo, one of the things, of course, is that when we have elections taking place, especially at such a localized level, the contestation amongst parties, among independent candidates is often much higher too. So that's where the fight really takes place over who becomes a ward councillor, etc., etc. Are you hoping that political parties are going to be part of the process in terms of this new way of doing things?
We've just had a National Party Liaison Committee meeting this morning, and almost all parties represented in the National Assembly were one voice that they will put their shoulder to the wheel to ensure that they firstly run their campaigns in a manner that observes the prohibitions and restrictions, but secondly that on voting day they'll conduct their business again in a manner that secures compliance with the regulations. So political parties are also upbeat. That's my sense of the meeting today, and they are willing to make a contribution to have this election in an atmosphere that does not facilitate the cross-infection of people.
Do you know yet where the first set of by-elections is going to be taking place and how soon that will be?
Well, the Commission will be in a position to announce the date on which these by-elections are going to be taking place, but they'll all happen on the same day so that we clear them all at once. So all by-elections are planned for a single date which the Commission will announce tomorrow.
Sure. And you know, obviously on some level, again, the parties and the independent candidates would want time in order to prepare. So is there going to be some time between the announcement of the date versus when the actual election will take place?
So I think in fairness, we have to give parties, independent candidates, an opportunity to mobilize their supporters, an opportunity to canvass for support and so on. So there will be sufficient time between tomorrow and the date on which the election will be held. I can already tell you that it's going to be between November and December this year.
All right. Well, it looks like it's going to be a busy festive season then, especially for political parties and candidates who are part of those municipalities that are going to be running and hosting their by-elections. As you heard there, 111 of them are going to be held all on the same day, and we're expecting then to hear more from the IEC on this matter tomorrow.